yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Born and dead, saved by love, count my blessings from above. Though in darkness, have no fear. Light will shine on those holding near. They know that sorrow they will pass. For I know in this life there will be something. But remember that love, yes it will. Love will reign. Yeah. Love will reign. Yeah. In my heart, I believe it. Love will reign. Oh, yeah, yeah. Have a vision, it's clear and plain. People living life, smiling again. Oh, see the children, they know no pain. Far from pressure, stress and strain. Oh, sorrow, they will pass. For I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. But remember that love, yes it will. I know. Yeah. Love will reign. Gotta believe it. In my heart, I truly believe. Sun will shine again, and love, I can hardly wait. We'll all be together. There'll be peace, peace, sweet peace, happiness and joy.
Good evening. Love will reign. Throughout the evening, you're going to see me looking at a separate camera because folks are joining us on TikTok as well. I'm Marcus Holmes, the love activist. I'm advocating for a better love for you and me. And I hope that you will join us across all platforms, whether you're watching us from where we emanate, who we love all platforms, but um, our flagship, I guess I will say, platform that has helped us along the way is Facebook, and on the Love and Stuff community page. We love all of you in the community and shout out to you tonight. All of the love groups attached to that page and to the Marcus R. Holmes page. All of the groups that are on TikTok that are connected. There are folks joining on TikTok. I see you, Hafa. You have to inbox me so we can talk on YouTube events, on Twitch TV, on Twitter, on Instagram tonight, and on I missed somebody, but all of these platforms, and I'll double back to it. Why don't you take a moment and click share? Tag 5 of your closest connections, followers, subscribers, or friends, 5 of the more popular ones, to join us in a discussion that has been on my heart as we go into this year with our mantra love.more.2024. You can drop that in the comments right now. Love.more.2024. I don't know about you, but what we could have a better Republican candidate. Yep, I will say that in the US. We could have a lot of different things, and we have a lot of things that we don't need. We don't need a repeat of 45. I know some people aren't going to find that very popular, but that's just my personal opinion, not the views expressed of all of the sponsors that might help us. I don't believe we need another war, which I think is all about money. I don't think that we need another tragedy, another act of police brutality, but we do need more love. I need more love in my life. I need to give more love. I'm open to receiving more love. I hope that you feel the same way. And if that is you, then you have happened upon the right space and time this evening. What's been on my heart that I haven't really posted much about or shared because I just can't really summon the words, but I think in our mantra, our effort, our focus this year to love.more.2024, we have to be purveyors with our platforms, whether your platform is on, whether you're a nano or micro influencer as me, or whether you're a macro influencer, or whether you are a super influencer, or just an influencer on your block or in your home. We need to create safe spaces for people. Particularly tonight, we're going to talk about safe spaces for Black women. And I think it's really important in light of what we have seen in recent days at Lincoln University, who, following the suicide of one of their administrators, has hired a law firm to investigate the personnel issues. Dr. Antoinette Bonnie Candia-Bailey alleged that she had faced harassment at her workplace. It's really pricking my heart as a human resources professional, but as an African American man, I think it is really important that we are part of purveyors of safe spaces for those around us. Lincoln University, as you may know, is a historically Black institution in Missouri, and their administrator, who died via suicide earlier the month, is raised, um, who worked as the university's vice president of student affairs, raised concerns about the president, John Mosley, regarding mistreatment and bullying. She sent a letter hours before she died on January 8th of this month, and he volunteered John Mosley to go on a paid administrative leave until the investigation concludes. Now, Lincoln hired Candia-Bailey to this position of vice president in May 2023, and she has over 23 years in higher education. But she accused this president of micromanaging her, inconsistencies, and arrogance. Um, She sent the letter to family and friends and alumni of Lincoln University, almost like a cry for help. Um, she disclosed that she had some mental health issues and challenges, and that his behavior exacerbated those existing challenges. And the university terminated her from her role less than a week before she committed suicide. They say that the letter was due to insubordination and breaching confidentiality requirements. She had requested medical leave, I should put out there, um, and stated that the relationship with her and her boss had turned sour and that she was requesting to be removed from under him. So it is an ongoing investigation. So I certainly won't comment much about that, right? Except we have to create safe spaces for our people. And I thought in our Love More, thinking about loving more, that we would embrace love and justice, that we would empower Black women, especially in a kingly way, kind of in the spirit of Dr. King and some of those quotes. And I wanted to delve into some of his timeless wisdom because I think it gives us a footprint for how we could create a world and spaces for women, especially Black women, where they are empowered to embrace their identity with love, with dignity, and with courage. I think it's so important. And as we talk about allowing women to embrace their identity with love and dignity and courage, I want you to know that it isn't lost on us that Love and Stuff community is made up of 74% women and 26% men. And when I think about some of the issues that plague women, when I looked at some of the statistics, here are some of the things that I will share with you. Of course, women contend in identity, though they compete with men on many levels, they contend with bringing, becoming their authentic selves with many different issues, including equal pay. Black women still face significant wage gaps across industries compared to their white non-Hispanic male counterparts. In the US, Black women typically earn 67 cents on the dollar paid to white or non-Hispanic men. And this wage gap results in a substantial loss over a lifetime of work, costing Black women who are working full time an average loss of 22,000, almost 23,000 a year, and up to 907,000 or $1 million over a 40-year career. And even when including those extra jobs, part year and part time work, Black women typically still make 64 cents for every dollar. Thinking of bonuses and commissions, trying to compare that. Thinking of the mental health status. Mental health of women in the workplace is affected by various factors, including economic hardship, being single parents often, and workplace stress. For instance, 71% of Black women report living paycheck to paycheck compared to 63% of the general population. Additionally, 37% of Black women have medical debt, and a large portion with student debt, student loan debt. And they have household incomes of less than 50,000 annually while owing more than 25,000. These financial stresses contribute significantly to the overall mental well-being of Black women. And this was from a study from Goldman Sachs. The equal pay is from the National Women's Law Center. Their presence in corporate America. Black women face numerous barriers in advancing their careers. Only 43% of Black women receive health insurance through their employer compared to 53% nationwide, and just 49% have retirement savings plans. Additionally, only 50% receive paid sick leave from their employers. These disparities indicate a lower presence of Black women in well-compensated, secure jobs that have benefits, also from Goldman Sachs. And then we wanted to just touch on some of these statistics relative to the intersection of racial and gender biases that can exacerbate challenges women face in seeking support and resources when they are contending with domestic violence. Nearly 45% of Black women report experiencing intimate partner violence, which is notably higher than that of the general population. Black women also represent a disproportionately high percentage of domestic violence fatalities and are 3 times more likely to be killed by an intimate partner compared to white women. These statistics point to a critical need for our understanding and our support in addressing domestic violence in Black communities. Those statistics are from Public Med. And we looked and saw some of the data around COVID-19 that created additional vulnerabilities for Black women at risk during domestic violence. There was an alarming increase in domestic violence and the murder of Black women and girls in the United States, with at least 4 Black women and girls murdered a day in 2020. It represented a significant increase from the previous year. It also posed challenge to the pandemic for domestic violence support services, making it difficult for Black women to access the help that they need. And that's from the MIT review. These barriers are unique to women because there are cultural and systemic barriers, such as fear of involving law enforcement and social services, which can lead to mistrust, reluctance, and the lack of seeking assistance. Many Black women have reported feeling mistreated and disrespected at some domestic violence shelters, highlighting the need for more culturally sensitive support services. So there's so many different statistics available, and I invite you to look at some of those publications that have been listed and named. So I want to talk a little bit about, in this first segment, Dr. King once said, "I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear." I think this statement is a powerful beacon of hope and resilience for many, especially Black women who are navigating the complexities of the workplace and, as we've heard from Dr. Candia-Bailey, the academia. Challenges are real. Tokenism or tokenization, lower pay offers, microaggressions, even during recruiting and onboarding. But yet, in the face of these adversities, we have to be support for women to embrace their identity with love and dignity, not as an act of our personal empowerment, but our communal empowerment against these societal narratives that seek to devalue women. And we could talk a lot about the societal narratives that seek to devalue women and what we could and should do about those narratives. I think it's really, really important when we think about women on a professional journey, on a, um, a domestic journey, and that they are mothers as well, they're caregivers as well, that we advocate and that we are sensitive as a community for women that are entering the workforce and academia, to hear some of the signs that might be present for them as they are impacted, their mental health, as they're impacted as individuals and collectives as women. I think it's very important. And so, 3 of the things I want you to consider, whether you are non-African American or whether you are male, want you to consider how you can be an advocate and a mentor for young Black women to help them to prepare for these challenges that they will face in balancing home and a job, balancing home and going back to school for postgraduate studies, and professional challenges in the workplace, to help them navigate these sometimes very layered and very difficult journeys. And when you have a platform and when you have a space, that you create a space for community dialogue, that you become a host of community dialogues, just like Love and Stuff. So, where people can address and dismantle microaggressions and stereotypes, where people can learn about them and people can then become advocates in their own workplaces and communities for women. It's about, in those community dialogues, creating a space for empathy, for deep listening, and for awareness, so that we as allies, we're not just becoming performative, or it's not perfunctory to say we support Black women, but that with our actions, our presence, our listening, that we are there for Black women as well. All right. And then financial support. Are you giving to women's organizations? Are you helping a woman who is trying to go back to school? Are you helping to establish scholarships and grants and funds specifically for Black women who want to pursue higher education and maybe don't have the resources to, or who are inundated with student loan debt? Even though some people have achieved forgiveness, there are many that haven't. It helps them to know that you acknowledge the systemic barriers, number one, that they face, but number two, that you're willing to do something about it. In other words, putting your money where your mouth is. It is really, literally sticking with love, sticking with ensuring that we support them in loving ways in a loving environment. And I think that that is so important as we see what can happen when women don't feel wholly supported, that it is important that we provide them the support that is necessary to them. As we go to the first break, I want you to click share and tag someone, and I want you to drop in the comments ways that you feel, if any of these things have resonated with you, but other ways that you feel that you could be of support to women, both young, middle-aged, older, to help them have safe spaces in our world. I want to ensure that everybody sees their life as having a platform. And maybe your platform isn't coming live every Tuesday night. Maybe your platform is in your school, your children's school, or at your church, or at your community center, or on your block. But everyone has a platform, everyone has a space. And now we have to make room in those spaces so that our Black women who are under attack feel safe. This is Love and Stuff, and we are empowering Black women in a kingly way. I hope you will click share and tag someone to join us right now. What you wear says something about who you are, what you believe, and what you stand for. So here in the Love and Stuff community, we wear the brand that we live, and we live the brand that we wear because we love the brand. It's all about increasing the amount of love in the world and upping our love game. And if that's what you're about, you should wear it too. If you love the brand, you should wear it too. Drop your comments. We will be feeding all of the comments into our live. And so whether you're watching on Facebook or Twitch or Twitter, YouTube events, Instagram or TikTok, TikTok's comments won't be live until they get me to a certain number of followers. But the rest of your comments will be in the feed as you drop them in. Tonight, we're talking in a kingly way about empowering Black women on the heels of this devastating news of the vice president of student affairs who took her own life, and just hours before that gave a letter to the university detailing her experiences with one of the members of the leadership. She alleges harassment and micromanaging, and felt that she was being um, mistreated, uh, uh, enduring horrible treatment is her allegation. And we understand that an investigation is happening. And so we will steer clear of a specific response until that investigation is completed. And so I thought that, coming right off the King holiday, uh, thinking about all the work that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did toward community, the beloved community, our beloved Black women are an important part of our community. And so we got to create supportive environments for them through some of the principles, all of them nonviolent in his early work, but becoming more radical and militant as he was coming to the close of his very short life, but very full life of work that he's helped so many to do. So in that spirit of Dr. King, who advocated for nonviolent resistance rather, how can we consider how we can create supportive environments as an answer to crucial socio-political and socio-economic and the moral questions of our time regarding women? He stated in one speech, this approach isn't just about resolving conflicts. It's about ensuring that the voices of Black people, and I add women, are heard, respected, and valued in spaces where they have been systematically rather, marginalized. It's about recognizing the invisible emotional labor, the uncompensated extra duties, and the legitimacy often questioned. By fostering these environments, we not only address these grievances, but we also can cultivate spaces where growth and empowerment are possible. And I was reading another set of statistics where Black women in leadership, up to 80% of them are contending with the imposter syndrome. They're in leadership spaces, making things happen in organizations, smashing the game, as it were, but they bring a sense of um, self-loathing, almost a sense of inadequacy, a feeling of unworthiness to those spaces that is exacerbated by how they're treated in those spaces. So we got to create supportive environments for them, be it in the church, be it in sorority and fraternity, be it across all types of organizations, so that they know that we recognize that there's an invisible emotional labor to being Black and to being a Black woman in the workplace, in the school, in the home, that requires a supportive environment. People say driving while Black, living while Black. Well, think about the emotional labor it takes for Black women to stand in leadership roles, to stand in pastoral roles, even in this day and time. There's much controversy about whether Black women or women in general should be in those leadership roles, pastors, bishops. And we know that there are pastors and bishops, apostles in every area of Christendom and kingdom and churchdom, if you will, of extraordinary women, extraordinary Black women, who I think if you heard their stories would tell you the emotional labor that it takes for them to even operate in their gifts that they've been called to do. And so if we know that and we understand that, and we are willing to be advocates for that, then we have to have supportive environments where they can become, and do all that they have been called to do, knowing that someone has their back. Really important that we help them to navigate the role of being an optimistic member of our society, even though people don't always optimistically view them, right? And Black women all the time, not only Black women, but we're talking about Black women today, they face challenges with their expertise being discounted. Think about that. You're going into the room and you know that they're already thinking of ways to discount you, to overtalk you, to silence you because you're a woman. So we need to validate their expertise publicly. We need to recognize and compensate their emotional and extra labor, and challenge misogyny. We need to make sure that the policies of our institutions, of our communities, uplift Black women, elevate their causes, and affirm their legitimacy and their contributions to organizations. And if you know, like me, where would the Black church be without Black women? So we have to celebrate that, elevate it in every level of our organizations. And three of the ways that we can be practical with that emotional support, which is crucial to these environments, is that emotional labor acknowledgement. Recognize that they are laboring emotionally just to bring their full selves to work, back home, to care for the kids, to care for parents, to care for grandchildren, to fry up the bacon in the pan, to balance the books, to win contracts, to fight for a seat in the C-suite. All of that emotional labor as a woman should be acknowledged. Typically, the woman that goes into the boardroom is twice as prepared and twice less as rested. So we got to celebrate their achievements, give them space and grace to rejuvenate and recharge, and validate their experiences. Okay? Then we have to create safe spaces for their voices to be heard. Their voices don't sound like our voices. Their thinking isn't our thinking, right? But we have to make space for their thinking. We have to foster programs and spaces on our platforms in churches and community centers, as I mentioned earlier, in social groups where Black women can speak truth to power and speak it freely and speak about their personal and professional experiences without judgment and fear of condemnation. And then we have to enable support groups. Even if we're not part of the support group, we can still enable them that offer a safe haven for Black women, places where they can share and they can heal, where they can express their concern and sentiment regarding the impacts of misogyny or misogynoir and legitimacy questioning. And we need to put our money into funding those support groups, into funding refreshments, into funding spaces, into funding programs and facilitators to help that support group flourish. So those are the three things I submit to you relative to emotional and practical support, that we need to do an emotional labor acknowledgement of what a woman carries, a Black woman especially, carries through her life as an emotional toll. It's been something she's been carrying for more than 400 years, but she carries the weight of that in her DNA every day. And we need to celebrate their achievements publicly while validating their experiences. That's number one. Then create spaces for their voices to be heard with our platform, with our soapbox. Give them the opportunity to freely speak about their professional and personal experiences. And three, help to support, fund, elevate, lift, create, co-partner with them in their own support groups and spaces where they know that you are supportive of those groups and spaces. Okay, really, really important as we're thinking about uh, providing them support, Black women support in a kingly way. Speaking of Black women, we've got some phenomenal Black women right in our community. And one of them is June Rochelle Eaton, the owner of DetroitCouture.com. I want you to consider June when you're thinking about all of the things that help ladies help you feel beautified, and men that help your wives and girlfriends friends feel beautified. June has something just for them, and I want to encourage you to go to DetroitCouture.com.
Hi, my name is June Rochelle, and I own Detroit Couture. We are a fashion forward women's boutique, and we offer friendly sizes from small all the way up to 3X women's sizes, very generously fit, very great quality. I actually have on one of our pieces today. It's called the Cuffed Up. It's in gray, burgundy, and black and olive, and it actually has a lot of stretch and give. So listen, in this time, we try to make sure that first of all, it's quality and customer service that we offer our clients. And I'm so glad to have this opportunity to share with you. So go and visit us at DetroitCouture.com.
Thanks, June. We love June Rochelle Eaton. And what we love about her is that she empowers women to not only be beautiful, to live beautiful. She's also a realtor, and she's all about women's empowerment. We celebrate her today, and we want to make spaces, even though she is doing wonderfully well with DetroitCouture.com. We always want to make space in the Love and Stuff community and any space that we can be in for women like June to help to lift them and elevate them. And it's one of the ways of acknowledging that emotional labor. Think of what it takes for a woman to become a business owner and be successful at it. Think of what it takes to build the kind of strategic partnerships and strategic equity so that you can leverage that equity to get capital and to get real estate and to get plant and property and to get inventory. It is almost 2 times as hard, some would say 10 times as hard for that of her non-Hispanic male counterparts, right? I'm going to say non-Hispanic because we see them as people of color as well. And the reality is it's tough to be a small business owner, but think about being a woman small business owner. Okay, Black woman especially, even with minority certifications, it's tough. And so we celebrate June Eaton and others like her who we will highlight because we want to empower Black women in a kingly way. Thinking about Dr. King and his work, thinking about Dr. Antoinette Bonnie Candia-Bailey, who took her own life on January 8th and who had hours before submitted a letter indicating her thoughts about harassment. And I'm thinking also about a woman in the Detroit area in the poetry and spoken word community whose life was taken tragically at the hands of an intimate partner. I'm thinking about an executive director who was bullied and who experienced microaggressions within her first week on her position and ended up leaving that organization. How these women need a safe space. And thinking of Dr. King's work and him always working for the underdog, working for those that are marginalized, especially the beloved community, how we might raise up his work to help others. He said, as we go into the segment, thinking about affirming worth of women, Black women especially, and collective support. He said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You know, I hope that I've done some great investment in my sweetest sweetie girl in the whole wide world, who you probably are, if you've watched any of my platforms, you've heard me talk about Autumn, who is my niece and who is like a daughter to me. Her dad is in her life, so I don't want people to misunderstand that he's not. But I feel doubly blessed to have played a role in helping her to become, as she is still becoming, a law school student, still becoming the woman that she is aspiring to be. And I've always tried to model out before her to serve others. And one day, in talking to her, she says, I want to serve people. And it made my heart just jump and leap because I think that we all have been given a treasure trove of service, especially in the African American community. And Dr. King reminded us of that. Everybody can serve. Well, what if Love More this year looks like serving more? Serving someone else to affirm their self worth and being collective support for someone. There is someone that you know, some Black woman that you know, who is having a tough time. She's dealing with infidelity in her marriage. She's walking into a divorce. She's just buried a parent, or she's just buried a spouse. She's just sent kids off to school and trying to imagine herself. She's just been laid off from a position. How can we affirm the self-worth of the being of Black women through collective support? I think Dr. King's sentiment is particularly poignant when we think about the burnout that many Black women are experiencing in their personal and professional lives. They're doing everything, and no one is serving them. No one is collectively coming to their aid to assist with that burnout. So women experience everything from their tone being policed and gaslighted, to being the angry Black woman, to being hyper monitored in how they parent and how they serve in their work communities. This is our call to not only recognize their inherent worth and their strength to our community, but for us to build networks for them of support, for us in our organizations to be thinking about them specifically, narrowly, and broadly as we're determining where we send our dollars, where we send advocacy, where we demand change, and where we seek opportunities to do business and new business and connect people in business. Our actions will only serve to validate them and to demonstrate to them that they are worthy of respect. Women need to know that they're worthy of respect. And burnout is a critical stage. It is often the stage before women decide to give up or decide to take other measures that might be self-inflicting harm to them, right? We've got to affirm their self-worth and provide that collective support through, in part, through spaces. But we got to create platforms and enable our platforms for them to have places where there is no retaliation, but there is affirmation. Affirmation for lifting them up, affirmation for calling out who they are to us, what they mean to us and to our community. So the three things that I recommend and share with you that would help show our solidarity to them and our advocacy to them and for them, especially in the face of burnout, are community healing circles. Thinking of Fannie Lou Hamer and her work and her resilience. We need healing circles for women where they can share their stories of struggle and hear other stories of triumph. These echo her indomitable spirit and will help, as according to the scriptures, people overcome. Black women will overcome by the word of testimony, right? And so creating these community healing circles, community prayer times, community meditation times, places where women can go and their spirits be refueled and recharged. And I don't know if Dr. Etner will make it in here tonight, but she has an amazing opportunity, and not only for women, but it is an amazing opportunity to help women, to give them a blueprint, a pathway for recharge. And we need more of those community healing circles, more of those community platforms that seek to heal and speak to the affirmation of women. Of course, we've got to actively engage in policy advocacy on our local level, county, state, federal, regional, in our organizations where we're in leadership, to make sure that we speak to this echo, speak to this almost systemic, this interwoven aspect of racial battle fatigue that women face. Always battling the code switch, always battling what is appropriate to wear and be and do and say for Black women. We got to advocate through process and policy for women. And then the third thing that I think is important is join and lead public campaigns that bring attention to injustices in the workplace, in communities, in organizations, and yes, even in churches where women are marginalized and in some places not allowed to achieve their full self and status in ecclesia, in the church. Justice Fannie Lou Hamer brought national attention to the plight of Black people in America and Black women. We too need to bring that same solidarity and advocacy to women. Very important for us to do. And I hope that you will share now in the comments how you could help in that advocacy with your platform. As we go to one more woman in our Love and Stuff community who's doing great things, Christina Smith is a member of our Love and Stuff community, and she has an organization. Her company is called Powerful Money Tools, LLC. And if you want to be empowered financially, I personally know that she has helped women in the Love and Stuff community repair their credit, get their budget together, plan for retirement. And if any of those are things that are on your list that you know need to happen for your empowerment as a woman, you can do it in a kingly way with a queenly woman, Christina Smith, with Powerful Money Tools, LLC.
Welcome to Powerful Money Tools, LLC. At Powerful Money Tools, we are here to prepare for your future. We want to talk about financial freedom. Financial freedom is budgeting, credit building, and also financial education. So once again, welcome to Powerful Money Tools, LLC. We can't wait to help you in your financial future.
Thank you, Christina Smith, for being a partner to the Love and Stuff community, a valued part of our community. And thank you for all the work that you do to empower women, especially Black women, but all people are empowered when you are able to get your financial future together. So I urge you, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch or LinkedIn, not LinkedIn tonight, I apologize, Instagram, wherever you are, Powerful Money Tools LLC. Christina and her team can't wait to help you. Thanks, Christina. I think it's so important, this discussion on love more. And again, it is not lost on me that there are approximately 75% women in the Love and Stuff community. It's comprised of 75% women, 25% men. Even with the advent of our sports talk with Kamau and Felix, which is doing an amazing job. Now it is a weekly show. We still have 75% women, 25% men in the Love and Stuff community. So it's not lost on me that Black women, especially, Black women have an emotional labor that needs to be acknowledged. And if we are to love them more, we cannot discount the emotional labor that they carry. And when I'm saying emotional labor, is that they have to work through all of the experience that is unique to them of being both woman and Black, unlike anyone else. And that impacts how they parent, how they love, how they lead, how they partner, intimate or otherwise. And we can't discount that. We must see the emotional labor that they carry as a burden, as a part of who they are in whatever vocation or avocation that they embark upon. And in loving more as men, as non-Hispanic or non-Black women, we have to be more empathetic to that. We must display more empathy for all that a woman has to carry just to be present in your life, in your company, in your marriage, in your relationship, with your children, with your parents or hers, her grandchildren and yours. We must acknowledge that and celebrate the contributions that they bring to our world and community and to our lives. In loving more in 2024, I challenge you to empower Black women in a kingly way, in a way where love is the order of the day for the relationships that you have with Black women, to support them, to uplift them, to empower them, to engage them in ways that invite them to be their authentic selves, that invite them to bring the very best, even if their best is better than yours, even if their best rivals yours, that you enable them to be all that they can for every organization and every church and every community group, social group, and otherwise. We stand the greater collective good and goodwill when we enable people to be their best. And when we understand their journeys, that their journeys, though different than ours, shouldn't be discounted in any regard. When we understand that, and when we embrace that, we empower them in ways to be affirmed, and we give them the space for healing circles in a way that feeds the brokenness that they have to deal with in organizations, much like Dr. Antoinette Candia-Bailey dealt with before her untimely passing. While it did jar me, I'm jarred by how soon after she submitted that letter that she decided that she felt no other choice, however you want to look at it, that she felt no other choice but to take her own life. but we shouldn't wait until those that we love are in crisis to act, affirm, and advocate. As a community, we owe each other better. We owe each other the love and the beloved community that Dr. King espoused, talked about, and preached about. And I think it's so very important that we see ourselves again, as I said at the outset, not just as individuals, but as people with platforms and places and spaces to enable the empowerment and affirmation and elevation of Black women and their cause. That is one of the ways that we love more 2024. Black women are deciding to exit the workplace, exit relationships. Black women are deciding, some of them, to exit and give up on life. And what we have to do, I think, in this final few minutes with you, I want you to consider, those of you that are in any kind of professional counseling setting, or those of you that are on the periphery of those, is that we have to elevate those resources to be seen, to offer counseling services to help them navigate these tough decisions. Networking opportunities for other women who can open doors for them, or other people who can open doors for them for new beginnings and new opportunities. Have you ever thought about the people that used to be part of your marriage ministries at church and now they're divorced? Where is the network opportunity for them for new beginnings? We oftentimes throw away people who are divorced. We don't fellowship, we disfellowship with them. We take sides on who was right and who was wrong. We disassociate ourselves from them like they're lepers, and this leprous dissolution of marriage is going to creep onto our marriages. And so we leave them broken and isolated and alone. What if you started a network just for people to have new beginnings? Just the new beginnings ministry, group, prayer, healing circle, where people can begin to go on their healing journeys looking forward to the next open door. What about people who are laid off? We have a place for people to pay their tithes. We have job placement out services. But what about a space for them to recharge and be reaffirmed that although they let you go, life hasn't let you go. Your value is still intact. See, we've got to be partners in the community for the wellness of the community. And then for people who make a decision that maybe we don't agree with, but we provided them resources, we stay when they leave, meaning we stay connected to them. Whether they're leaving an organization and they're no longer working with us, leaving a church and no longer working with us, leaving a marriage and no longer a part of our family structure, we stay in support with them. We stay in community with them. We stay in fellowship with them for steps towards self-preservation and empowerment. It's 2024 for sure. And I want to challenge you to love more. Dr. Edner is here. Individualism has made far too many numb to the needs of others. We must see each other. Absolutely. We must. We must see each other. We must see each other, hear each other, affirm each other if we're going to love more, especially, as I'm saying, and I mentioned earlier, Dr. Edner, I don't know if you were here, one of those healing circles, I believe, is what the Lord has given you, even though it's not specifically for Black women. And we're thinking of helping Black women in a kingly way tonight. But it is a healing circle. It is a place of refuge, a place of reprieve. And because of the emotional labor that Black women have that you really can't quantify in a study, but I offer that the emotional labor of Black women is like working the 16-hour shift for 3 people. It's not just doing overtime, it's doing the work of 3 people that did their regular shift and overtime. That emotional labor is greater than you'll find among any other demographic, because most Black women are still caregiving while they're working, caregiving while they're preaching, parenting while they're working, parenting while they're preaching, loving a mate while they're working, loving a mate while they're preaching, balancing the checkbook, investing the money, protecting the home, protecting their mate, making love to their mates. All of those things while working. They are emotional labor intense while working. And we've got to see them, as you said. We've got to hear them. We've got to make a space for them to know it is okay. And not that we want you to have that amount of labor, but that we're going to be here more than just in word. We're going to be here in presence, here in our bounty, here in our giving of our time and our talent in a way that serves women. And if we are to live at all kingly like Dr. King, we hear him loudly and clearly saying, everybody can serve. So in this love.more.2024, I'm making a clarion call to you to love some Black woman more. Black men, love her. Don't hurt her. Don't hit her. Don't call her the B word, the H word. Affirm her. Help her. Uplift her. Stand with her. Stand for her. Speak up and support her. And if each of us saw ourselves not just as an individual, but a place or a platform, we will enable others to be a part of our collective support by loving.more.2024. We're in a world where, again, bless the memory of Dr. Antoinette Candia-Bailey, who took her life on January 8th, hours after providing a letter detailing how her mental health issues were exacerbated by the harassment and micromanagement of a white male leader. She was terminated 5 days before that. Imagine what our world is becoming, where no one comes to the aid of Black women. We love them and their full lips and hips. We love them curvaceous. We love them long hair, their hair or the hair they bought. We love them strong and fierce. We love them. But if we want to love them more in 2024, they've got to see it and know it and see us affirming them and knowing that we have their back. I challenge every man and non-African American woman to make it your mission to find one woman that you can support and find 2 other people to be a part of that collective support system, just to let her know we got you, that we're here for you. It's a Herculean commitment. But if you commit to serving, you will find that you will be given provision to help in that service. It takes a heart commitment. After you see a need, commit your heart by love.more.2024. We'll continue throughout the year in our support of Black women. We'll continue in our love.more.2024 all year long in various areas, because we realize there are so many ways that we can love more. We can love God more. We'll be talking about that. We can love self more. We'll be talking about that. And as we've done today, we can love others more. And I hope I hope that you will come to the realization, as I believe that I have come and am coming on this journey, that one person who is serving can do extraordinary things. And if we want our world to change, we got to start one bite of the elephant at a time, one heart, one mind, one love, dot more, dot 2024. I'm Marcus Holmes. I'm the love activist. I'm advocating for a better love for you and me. And I want you to join me on this extraordinary journey in 2024 to love dot more, dot 2024, and open up whatever area of your life that you can stand to receive more love and to give more love, and watch how this world and your world changes. We'll see you soon. Join Darren Williams on the replay tomorrow, as he is still on sabbatical until the beginning of February, but the replay of some of his Pillars of Love content will be coming up the next 2 weeks, and you don't want to miss Now Weekly Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix. And you know they're going to be talking about those Lions. Felix is not thinking the Lions are going all the way, and Kamau is hoping that they do. Well, let's tune in Saturday and find out what they have to say. It's Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix each Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will see you then. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.